Shalom, Miss Paka, to my Hebrew Israelite family. Raho, brothers and sisters, to my Rwandan family. Assalamu alaikum, to my Muslim family. And blessings and love and peace to family in BSNG, which I stated is Babylon, Sodom, and Gomorrah. And I want to welcome Yafaisha, which means beautiful wife. She will greet you.
Shalom, Muruho, and hello. I am Abigail, and I'm glad to be here.
All right, so we did subjects for religion, relationships, finances, health, and all had, and we put history, because you have to need to know your history for all of that. So this is just a summary. It'll be, the thread that ties it all is being obedient and following the instructions of the Creator, Yah, Elohim without power. And some relate Yah as God or other people that have religions. The Hebrew Israelite, that's not a religion, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle. And so I'm proud of the last 3.5, 4 years to be educated and learning who I am. And so the first thing I'll share real quick is relationships. And like I said, the time thread, everything goes to our Creator. And even when I was, like I said, I was a Muslim when I was 10 years old up to 14. I was a Christian from 92. Well, actually, I started at 7 to 10, like I said before. That was it. I was 7 to 10 years old. And then I was Christian from 92 all the way to 2022, 21. So I have experience in all of those. So the relationship is one. The head is your first relationship. Most important is to our Creator, the one who created you. The second relationship is to yourself. That's if you're single. And then if you're married, then the next relationship is to your spouse, your husband or wife. And then you have children, without children, it's your parents. And so with any of those, all of those relationships, number one, you need clear communication. And as a man, I've learned communicating with men and communicating with women are different. But in any relationship, you're in control of how you communicate with people, and how once you communicate with them, they understand the way you communicate with them, and then you understand the way they communicate with you, and that's how your communication grows. And so I'm not going to communicate with Yafaisha the same as I would communicate with one of my sons. I've learned to be direct, but I'll have to take in account the sensitivities. And so biggest thing with communication is you and the person that you communicate understand the, I would say, the rules of the communication. Be straightforward, you know. Now, if you decide that you communicate with somebody and you want them to be in your space and they don't communicate in a straightforward way and they expect you to read their mind, that's your choice if you want to stay in that relationship, whatever relationship that is. Um, and that's where issues happen. Um, in any relationship, you have to have strong foundation. And so at the beginning, regardless of gender, say, okay, when I ask you a question, I'm going to ask you a straight question. I'm not going to say something to get to a question I want to ask. I'm going to go that, I'm going to ask you directly. And then when you like, so now if you get married, that's why I shared with you, you have to, they call it equally yoked, but you have to one have a spiritual, both of you spiritual and a strong relationship with the creator. And then have same values in your finances and health. Um, and so once you do that, then you can go to your wife because the creator said, okay, this is who I want you to marry. Um, and so once you do that, then that means you're all in. And so before you get married, you need to make sure that your wife is all in or your husband is all in. And then when you do that, then you can have found a stronger foundation because the foundation, the original foundation, is on the Creator. And so in relationships, that would be um, key. Now, I said specifically in relationships about PTRS, post-traumatic relationship syndrome. That means you need to know, whoever you marry, you need to know their history. And I've shared about you need to know the history on all the subjects that I talk about. And you need to know the history of where we as African people, the at least the last 400 years, you have to understand the history, how your ancestors were treated and how that was put down to you. So whenever you deal with somebody, you got to know, okay, how are their parents? And unfortunately, in this stage, it's usually how is their single parent. And so you need to know that dynamic because that's going to play a role in what happens. Then you need to know their past relationships. So when people say you don't need to know about their past relationships, you take an exit because that's going to be important to deal with what's going on now. So history matters. Um, so anything you want to share before we go to the next subject?
Yeah, and as you said, communication is key. You can't procrastinate or make assumptions on what you think somebody is doing or saying or why they're doing it. You just need that communication to ask them a question or to get clarification of why they did something or whatever your issue is. Go directly to that person and communicate. That is key. I've made that mistake myself, procrastinating or assuming why somebody said something or why somebody did something instead of just communicating and it's done instead of letting it go on. And also for relationships, as you said, the first important relationship is with God or Yah, which is God in Hebrew. That should be your first and most important relationship. And that's the foundation that'll help you shape everything else. And it's important, of course, and key to know yourself and know what your weaknesses and strengths are. And you got to reflect daily and on a regular basis to know where you are and what you need to work on, get the help you need in the areas you need to help in, share your experience with others that will help them. And also, when it comes to relationship with others, you have to be mindful and considerate of who you're talking to and how you communicate. Some of what you said as well. And also in the Bible, it gives you guidance and instructions on how to treat others and how you should move forward as a person as well. So that's just what I can share right now.
Totally. So we're gonna go now to religion, and the quick, fast thing, as far as I've said with each thing, do your research. I can share with you, but do your research. And as I shared, the overall thing is when somebody says they're a Christian and their church says they're a Christian, it's like I said, I was there for 30 years, and I know, what Jesus did, what Jesus said, and he did. He fed the hungry. He helped heal people. He helped those in need. And he did not, in this modern day, have mansions. He did not roll around in Escalades, Mercedes, and all that. He was lower than his parishioners. And so, if you're in a place that your pastor has one is not replicating what Jesus does, and it's easy to see, especially when I'm talking to my people. If you in the church, and I know, and I said this earlier, you have a church every block and a half, and you have homeless people there and hungry people, that's not indicative of what he's preaching or what the Bible says. That's why you need to read. You're responsible for your education. And basically you can just look. If you have, like I said, hungry people, homeless people, and you have a building and none of that's being used on a daily basis, you'll fall off. You'll fall. And just look at the pastor. And as your tithes come in, what are your tithes for? They're supposed to help. It's not supposed to build up different things. The church was just a place to meet. But since you have that building, that resource, use it for the good, what Jesus, what preachers and pastors teach. So how you know is when they're not doing that, they're not embracing what they say. I always say 10% of what people say, 90% of what they do. And so that's religion. Financially, what I would say is for our people, this is what you do. Go online, just hit up the Black billionaires, United States billionaires. So in order to get a community, you need land, a lot of land, to make sure you grow crops and other things. You need a school system, schools. You need banks. You need hospitals, stores, those things. So I know right off the hand 8 Black billionaires. all you need to know in the United States, how many of those things that I just mentioned do we have? Black owned, black operated, black everything. The answer is zero when it comes to that. Now, when it comes when you say, well, we have black banks, we had a lot of those. Now we have a couple of online black banks. When it comes to health, you understand that what you have as far as what's coming into your area and what we have, food deserts and fast foods and everything that's GMO, um, unhealthy. And not only is it in our neighborhoods, that's what they feed our kids at school for lunch, breakfast. And so you are responsible for growing your food. And so these things might be hard, but we have choices. Uh, and the summary for that health and education, the same thing. With education, I shared that they're trying to feminize our boys and make 304 out of our girls, starting in elementary school younger. So 304, if you don't know what that's basically like making prostitutes out of our little girls. And that's being done. All these things you research and you can find out. Well, you can see them all around in Babylon. So with that being said, do you have?
All right, and I'll just sum up all your points as well, the subjects. And just to go back to relationships a little bit, I didn't really touch specifically on marriage. And with marriage, you need to listen to your partner and don't just ignore it, or I'll get to it later, but listen to your partner and then discuss it and come to an agreement on what they're asking you about or whatever that or asking you for, and come to agreement on that. Okay, I'm going to go back and sum up the areas that you talked about, and I'm going to go back to relationships first. I didn't really talk about marriage specifically. And for marriage, you need to listen to your spouse and listen to what they have to say and come to agreement on either what they're asking for or telling you about or whatever the issue is. That's important. Again, communication is key there. And marriage is work. You gotta put in the work. And that's for any relationship, you gotta put in the work for it. So, next, finances. It's important to know where your money is going. A budget is good if you want to do a budget. Also, savings and investments. That's all important things to consider to put in place. And also, for health, it's important to address and know where you are when it comes to your mental, physical, spiritual, and health. And all those areas are important for you to address and know where you are and to take care of, maintain, sustain, and improve where you need to improve. And you need to know about your history. As Bia said, it's important to do your research and know who you are, where you come from, and all history, whether it's family history, your culture, all that's important. And as I said, for religion, which we're part of the Hebrew Israelite community, which is more of a lifestyle, you need to know your Creator and have a relationship there. And I think that's it for me for summing up. the areas that you touched on, at least for the most part.
All right. So I would just reiterate basic facts, which is treat people the way you want to be treated. You reap, is a reaping and sowing process. You reap what you sow. And the sayings, a few sayings, when a nation or a person show you who they are, especially for long periods of time, believe it. Yes, change, people can change, but allow them to, change and be consistent about that change, to be serious. Also, personal introspection leads to character correction. The more you have daily introspection on yourself, the better you are to see things and be able to improve. Also, things, see reality as it is, not as you want it to be. Those things, sayings are true if you follow that instruction. Also, and I've shared this, continue to, life is about choices. No matter what happens in your life, you can choose how to respond, and you do choose how to respond. And so everything that goes on in your life is a choice. And when you embrace that, then that'll be a part to your growth. That'll be a part of you taking accountability and responsibility for your growth. And for us, as a community, we're all about improving the community and growing the community. And first, to build a strong community, it starts with yourself, it starts with you. And the more you improve yourself, then the more you have to offer and improve the community. And we want to uplift each other, inspire each other, but most of all, be honest and truthful with one another, and be able to, when you say inspire, when I say inspire, be able to inspire people. People might call it being accountable, making sure people are accountable, or uplift them when we know we have things that we need to work on. Just, make sure you hope, inspire them to be accountable for that, to grow. And further is just continue to, if you're older, to whom much is given, much is required. And that saying, when I say that, is the longer you live, the more is required of you. Because the most valuable thing that you have is your time and the experiences that you have. You're accountable to share them with the following generation. The good and the growing, the experiences that you need to change, their lessons. I just call them life lessons. And when you share all of that with the following generations, that helps them not to make the same mistakes. At least you've shared with them now. They have a choice if they want to do the same thing and to get the same outcome, that's their choice. But at least you've shared with them. And so that's our responsibility as elders and as uh, you know people who have been blessed to live um, long lives. And the next thing is each day you put another line to your legacy. You want to make sure, for me, I want to make sure everything that I do, because it's in the Bible. And it says that, if you are obedient to the Creator, He will bless you in thousands of generations. If you hate the Creator, He will curse you in thousands of generations. And so as I move and the things that I do, it's not about just me. It's about the generation. It's about not only my sons, but my grandchildren. And so I'm held accountable to the Creator, but I look at the fact that what I do is going to impact the generations that follow me. And so I want to be able to be a blessing to my generation, the generations that follow me. So that's the legacy I want to leave. The legacy, the living legacy, and the transition legacy. Because the legacy, while I'm here, I'm leaving legacy immediate. But then once the Creator calls me to transition, then other generations look back and say, what did Abia do? Was he for helping? Was he obedient to the Creator? Did he help the poor? Did he help the children? Did he show love to people? Did he show love for his people and for his community? And then did he use all the resources that was given to him by the Creator? And I talk about it a lot. Your time, the Creator gives it to you because He controls your heartbeat. Your talent, the Creator blessed you with whatever you do, whether it's in sports, science, whatever. And your treasure, your money, the Creator has blessed you with that. So all three things, really, for me, the Creator has loaned them to me, given them to me, and wanted to see what I'll do with it. And the more that I'm obedient to the Creator and using those three things, my time, talent, and treasure, to glorify the Creator and His people, the more the Creator has and will continue to make way for me to be able to do that. And so those are the things that I want to live by, that I definitely want to live by, because I've shared before, I need to improve in every area of my life. Some areas I need to improve more than others, but in every area in my life, I need to improve, and I'm striving to improve. And so it's a blessing to be able to share this with you, because unlike these are the words. This is not a podcast. You'll see four of these, and that's it. And that's the Creator says, once more. The Creator knows I'm not trying to, this is it for me. I don't want to be on, I'm not a podcaster. I just want to share what the Creator has told me to share. And I don't think I need to come on week after week, day, month to month. This is sufficient for me, and my prayer is that it'll touch. Let them who have ears, and the Creator wants them to hear this message, they will hear, and not only will they hear, they will do something. Great information, and only great information is when the information is put into action. Just like great ideas. Great ideas only great is if they are put into action. And that's one thing. You can talk and say things, but the action action outspeaks words. And so I'm thankful for this opportunity to share and leave this. You know, like I said before, it's dedicated to my grandchildren, Cameron Jr. and Princess, and any other, and all of that generation, and Yahweh and any other future grandchildren that we have. And when I say I'm talking about we, me and Yahweh. In the words of the late Frankie Beverly, we are one. That's how the Creator made marriage. And so this is a blessing. And Toda Rabah to my Hebrew Israelite Mispakah. Blessings and Shalom Aleichem to my Muslim brothers and my Rwandan family. May cozy. Blessings into Babylon, Sodom, and Gomorrah. Blessings, mercy, and may Yah continue to have favor, and may Yah continue to use His healing powers, His love, grace, mercy, forgiveness, and favor, and shower each one of you with that concerning your health, your wealth, your finances, and your relationships, especially your relationship with our Creator. Anything else?
Nope. Blessings and Toda Rabah, more cozy, and thank you for listening.
All right. Give me a kiss. All right.